My name is Henry Wardman. I go to the Royal Agricultural University in Cirencester. This course is an Entrepreneur in Action Assessment 1. The aim of this video is to understand and evaluate the mindset of an entrepreneur and the entrepreneurial characteristics that are needed to create and run a business. An entrepreneur is an individual who chooses to start and run their own business rather than working for others. The entrepreneur I'm going to be talking about is Darren Wardman. Darren is the owner and managing director of Optimum Research Limited and an entrepreneur based in Lincolnshire. He set up his business in 1990, which entails undercover investigations, surveillance and fraud investigations. I chose to use Darren as this business closely relates to what I want to do when I'm older. Initially, Darren would have started out as a nascent entrepreneur, which is someone starting and pursuing a new business with the hope to become an operating entity. The characteristics of these individuals can be categorized into demographic, sociological, and physiological factors. One demographic factor is age. Studies show that most nascent entrepreneurs are individuals in their 30s and 40s. In relation to Darren, this is the age in which he created his business. This correlation of people mid-career and starting a business may be due to earning enough money to fund their idea. One sociological factor is networking. In terms of Darren, his past career in the military would have been made easy to source employees to work within this industry, as a military background is of major importance. In addition to this, the main physiological factor for Darren was a need for achievement. As for all entrepreneurs, their careers are full of uncertainty and risks. In an interview, Darren told me that persistence is key when undertaking any new ventures. He said that the characteristics he had obtained during his time in the military allowed him to overcome these factors. Nascent entrepreneurs can be emphasized through a series of activities involved in their venture emergence. As defined by David Bosworth, this can be divided into 3 stages: thinking, doing, and growing. Each stage shows the difficulties and barriers an up-and-coming entrepreneur would face whilst delegating their time and effort into it. The initial stage, thinking, entails developing an idea and the right mindset and characteristics needed to do so. The entrepreneur may need to purchase facilities or organise a team along with other things. The next stage, doing, is where an entrepreneur works to make their business successful. They must create strong working relationships with co-workers to make sure tasks are completed on time. The last stage, growing, is long after the initial startup of the business. At this point, there must be strong relationships with suppliers and banks. The entrepreneur must think where they are at this point in terms of what they can or can't do. They may possibly employ someone to take control of their business's proceedings. These 3 areas can be further divided into sub-activities through the 9 stages of enterprise creation model. This model highlights a detailed framework from which a business grows. The first stages consist of ideas from which an entrepreneur creates and models their own business. The mid-stages are where normal business procedures have begun, and the entrepreneur can now assess its profitability and accomplishments. The final stages of the model look at the business's rapid growth and success, ending in the entrepreneur's exit from it. In relation to Darren, these individual processes would have been the basis for his business's success. The initial stage, discovery. This is based upon recognizing new ideas and potential for a business to grow. At this point, the entrepreneur must evaluate the market, identifying certain trends or demands. This was the first stage of discovery for Darren, in identifying if it was viable and profitable. In an interview, he told me due to his background in the military, which closely links to his business, he found initiating the idea was not too difficult, as he had obtained the skills and characteristics needed during this time in his career. The second stage is known as modelling. In this stage, entrepreneurs plan a business's goals and whether or not these are attainable, predicting its likelihood to succeed. A nascent entrepreneur such as Darren would have assessed the market in which he's in, identifying future cash flows. The third stage is known as startup. This consists of developing the operations such as finding resources. At this point in time, Darren focused on recruitment and putting work above all else. Once again, due to his background in the military and contacts within the market, recruiting was made easy and therefore work was completed efficiently. The fourth stage within the enterprise creation model is existence. In this, the business must be profitable. This is affected by the productiveness and competence of workers and having enough customers. This uncertainty means that a lot of businesses don't proceed past this point. Stage 5 is survival, which closely relates to previous one, as surviving is still the business's main objective with key focus on the customers. Darren said during the fourth and fifth stages, he was lacking in the quality of the work as it wasn't to the required standard and therefore experienced a number of setbacks where customers used other smaller businesses. During the sixth stage, success, entrepreneurs keep the company as it is, allowing for stability or to expand, which comes with a level of risk. When Darren reached this stage, he told me that he expanded his company by taking on more customers, which meant that he needed more employees and resources to cope with these new added costs. The seventh stage is known as adaptation. This is a period in which businesses change and adapt to the market around them. By this point, employees must be competent with their work and the specific roles within the company they've been given. At this stage, Darren became slightly divided from his business, giving authority to others, which allowed for new roles within the company to be made. Stage 8 is independence. This shows a business having experience and competent staff with an abundance of resources, giving it the edge over others in the previous stages. The final stage is exit. In this, an entrepreneur places focus on exiting the business and dismissing themselves of its ownership for good, with the hope of reducing their stake. When exiting the company, Darren used management buyouts, making it profitable. On reflection, I have learnt about the characteristics needed to be successful as an entrepreneur and those used by Darren that gave him an edge in the industry. The stages of enterprise creation model have allowed me to understand the sub-stages of a business's growth and their relationship with one another. By interviewing Darren, I was able to understand these in a real life context. As I stated earlier, Darren repeatedly spoke about the risks involved in becoming an entrepreneur and the importance of persistence when doing so. After exiting his business, he told me that the company was left with clear goals, allowing it to further expand to this day, which shows that he has gone from a nascent entrepreneur to a real one. From this, I feel that I can now use my understanding and knowledge about entrepreneurship wisely to hopefully start my own business within this industry when I'm older.